hit like, and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel.
Peace, family. It's your brother, Marc Lamont Hill. It's so good to see everybody here. Welcome to the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. And you are watching Night School. Every night here on the channel, we hold Night School, where I break down the most controversial subjects, the most interesting issues, the most contested topics in the world today. And tonight is no different. We have so many things we want to talk about, so many issues on the table, and we're going to get right to it because I know it's late. I know people are tired. But before we get started, I need everybody who's a night school classmate to like this video. That's how we keep them algorithms in check. Comment your name, where you're watching, so that the classmates know where you're calling from, where you're coming in from, the city, the state, the country, whatever. Also share this video with a friend, share it with a group chat, share it with your social media platform. Wherever you are, let the world know that you're here. We want to invite as many people as possible to tonight's global classroom. And you don't need to be, you do need to be a subscriber in order to comment. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. But even if you are a subscriber, still got to keep it cute in the comments, as they say. We will not agree on everything. You might not agree on anything that I say, but you can agree or disagree. You can challenge or even offer dissent without using hate speech. There's chat moderators here, so you make sure that you don't get under their radar or under their skin when you're on their radar, because if you get a warning in the comments, that's step one. Step two is that second offense where you get muted. That means that you will lose your ability to comment. And then, of course, if you get a third strike, you get banned from the channel. We don't want to do that, so we'll hope that you do it the right way. Also, the final Coffee and Books podcast episode premieres this Saturday, November 30th. There are 35 episodes, along with a bonus episode with Black Thought. You can find all of them right here on the homepage. If you haven't checked them out, I encourage that you do. You can also go to Uncle Bobby's page or Uncle Bobby's website to get more info on events, author events, scripted events, all the stuff. So we'll keep you posted on that as well. All right, family. Let's get to it, because again, there is a lot going on, a lot that I want to talk to you all about, a lot of issues here. I see the comments coming in. I see people writing in. I'm sorry. I'll take a couple quick ones here. Rolando said, final, yes. Final. Doesn't mean we're not going to do book interviews. Doesn't mean there isn't book content. We're just moving away from that model. That's all. But don't worry. You're still getting the book interviews. You're still getting dope stuff. Who knows? Often books may come back again at some point. We'll do whatever we can. We'll get to all of it. I can't wait to talk to you all. And we got a lot to talk about. So again, let's get to it. This is one of the more interesting topics that I saw on the internet today. And I said, I got to at least talk about this real quick. The nonprofit group StopAntiSemitism.org has compiled their annual list of top 10 anti-Semites, and it's quite the list. Take a look there. If you look here on the list, you see Hassan Piker, or also known as Hassan Piker. You see Corey Bush, Jackson. Oh, this is a good one, right? You see Jackson Hinkle, you see Greta Thunberg, you see John Cusack, Candace Owens, Dan Bilzerian, Jess Natali, Jake Shields, and Bessem Youssef. Now, Hassan Piker, also known as Hassan Abi, you've seen on this channel before. Corey Bush, you've seen on this channel before. Greta Thunberg, I actually interviewed maybe 3 days ago. No, last Wednesday. Candace Owens, you've seen on this channel. Notice the pattern here. I'm not saying, anyway, let me not tell you what I'm not saying. Let me tell you what I am saying. This list is quite interesting. And we'll get to why it's interesting in a minute. But they're serious about this list. There's a whole page dedicated to the list, and it gives a little bio about each finalist and who they are. And of course, they call them Jew haters. Last year, the winner of their holiday contest was Rashida Tlaib. Representative Rashida Tlaib. The page also has past winners going back to 2019. That year, when they first started the award, the winner was Ilhan Omar. Are you noticing a pattern here? Now, here's what this nonprofit group posted on X. They said last year, Rashida Tlaib swept the vote. This year, 10 new Jew haters are competing for the dishonor. Help us pick the top 3 to be announced on December 15th, with the ultimate Jew hater crowned on January 6th. Interesting. 2025. Now, first thing I think we have to say, more than anything else, in my opinion, is that anti-Semitism is a very real phenomenon, and it's a very dangerous phenomenon. It's a very disgusting phenomenon. And anybody who is an anti-Semite, anybody who is a Jew hater, anyone who harbors any ill will, ill will, hate, animus, disrespect, disregard, whatever, toward the Jewish community, they should be held accountable. There's no excuse for anti-Semitism. What's interesting here, though, is that the people on the list who I know, and again, I don't know the story of each of these people, but I can tell you Bassem Youssef has merely been an advocate for Palestine. I can tell you that Hassan Piker has been someone who has challenged the genocide in Gaza. I can tell you Cori Bush is someone who has gone to the mat, risked her life, her career, her professional and social circles to speak out against what's happening in Gaza. Greta Thunberg has been, obviously a big climate activist and has also been at demonstrations around the world. So it's interesting to see this list come out, but the Candace Owens choice, I think, is somewhat fascinating because in the case of Candace, there have been moments where, her clash with Ben Shapiro, her clash with Ben Shapiro has been very publicized, but so has her clash with at least 2 rabbis, right? Obviously Rabbi Shmuley, but also Rabbi she on her former show, Michael, is it Barclay? She's had a very interesting career on this issue. And so there are moments where you could say, okay, her Hitler comment, while taken a little out of, it wasn't taken out of context. Her Hitler comment, which was read in the worst possible light, was absolutely wrong to say. It was awful what she said. It was disgusting what she said. Even if I think she was putting a little too much dip on her chip analytically, I think ultimately what she said was historically inaccurate and dangerous and harmful and hurtful to Jewish people. But she's not in trouble for that here. She has said things about Rabbi Shmuley and other people who I think Rabbi Shmuley does awful things and says awful things. I think they were awful to her. But, there are moments where even calling someone a hag or a witch, who's Jewish, plays into certain tropes and stereotypes. So I get that anxiety there. Whether you think it's anti-Semitic or not, I'll leave that to other people to decide. But again, that's not what she's being challenged for. She's being called Anti-Semite of the Year for criticizing Israel. She's being called Anti-Semite of the Year for saying that innocent children in Gaza don't deserve to die. She has challenged Israel and challenged the orthodoxy of the right on this issue. And for that reason, she has been called an anti-Semite. So I just want y'all to watch the list and see and see there's a complexity to how this issue is being played out. And I don't want y'all to make any mistake about that. We got a comment coming in from Jazz LP who said, hurry and get your questions in, classmates. Mark has started to squinch his eyes and scratch. That means sleepy time for him. That is true. Anybody who knows me knows that. So y'all been watching the show long enough to know my sleepy time patterns. Let's move on to another story. If you're smart, y'all will move on with me because like Dallas Finance just said, I will be out in a minute. I'm gonna get through the show, but I'm trying to tell y'all, man, it ain't no joke. It ain't no joke, man. Anyway, let's get to this other story because I think it's another important one, particularly in light of the fact that President Trump has made such bizarre choices for his cabinet. One of those people is RFK Jr. And RFK Jr. every single day does something else to make all of us scratch our heads. Anyway, let's talk about it. Donald Trump's pick to lead the Department of Health and Human Services says he was a star student. And he says the thing that helped him become a star student, coffee? No. 10 hours of sleep? Heroin. In July, RFK Jr. went on a podcast to discuss lots of stuff, including his favorite study aid. And he shocked all of us with his somewhat unorthodox choice.
And I was at the bottom of my class. I started doing heroin. I went to the top of my class. Suddenly I could sit still and I could read. And I was at the bottom of my class. I started doing heroin. I went to the top of my class. Suddenly I could sit still and I could read.
I don't understand RFK Jr. on so many levels. I mean, look, he said he was bouncing off the walls. Said he had ADHD. Said he couldn't pay attention. So did he take Ritalin? Did he take Adderall? No. He went straight to the smack. He apparently kicked the ADHD and picked up a year's long heroin addiction. But he says he was a star pupil. I'm not sure what the lesson is here. I'm not sure what he wants the American people to take from it. But I do know that as the incoming Secretary of Health and Human Services, he's saying that he will, quote, make America healthy again. Again, he's an anti-vaxxer. He's a conspiracy theorist. And he's going to be leading America's health policies, many of them. And I don't want to stigmatize his drug use because I don't think we should do that. And I don't want to demonize drug use. I mean, there's a wonderful book by Carl Hart, professor at Columbia University. 2 books really by him, but his more recent book sort of gets at new ways to think about drugs, drug addiction, drug use, and to not always look at drug use through the lens of addiction or to presume that everyone who's using those drugs are addicts. All that stuff I get. I'm just not sure what it means for someone in a public position as Secretary of Health and Human Services to say, hey, I struggle with ADHD. And so I did heroin. I don't know. It doesn't seem like the wisest choice. It doesn't seem like the healthiest choice. It doesn't seem like the best example to set for young people, for consumers, for all the people who may follow his lead for whatever reason. It seems dangerous to me, but that's just me. The bigger issue here is that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is not in any way, in any shape or any form capable of responsibly running this department. For me, that's the real point. But that's just me. Anyway, family, if you just joined us, and some of you are just joining us, I want to welcome you to Night School. Jump in the chat, let us know where you're from, and don't forget to hit all the buttons. Subscribe to the channel, Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel. Hit the like button for this video. And you can also always share it on social media and ask more people to join the Night School family. Head over to Instagram, give us a follow at Night School MLH. The link is posted in the description of this video, and it'll take you directly to the page. I'm not done with Robert Kennedy, y'all. I don't know what it is about this dude. He's bonkers for so many reasons. Anyway, if any of you have been diagnosed with ADHD and have been prescribed medication like Adderall, RFK Jr. wants to send you to a wellness farm. The potential head of U.S. health policy has demonized pharmaceuticals like Adderall as well as antidepressants. And there's some concern that he could actually try to criminalize those drugs. This is the guy, again, who had ADHD issues, who says that he needed drugs to concentrate to become the star student that he became. Well, he wants to criminalize the drugs that helped him or that help most people deal with those issues. First, though, he wants to legalize marijuana. He wants to tax it, and he wants to use the money to create wellness farms where people can work and eat healthy while kicking their addiction to both illegal and legal drugs. That includes stimulants, that includes psychiatric medication, it includes all the stuff. Anyway, he blames medicine and the food that we eat for behavioral issues, but he was snapped in a photo with Donald Trump, Elon Musk, and others. And then you see in that photo, they're not exactly eating good in the neighborhood. They're eating pretty healthy, unhealthily, if you ask me. And in case you forgot, the first Trump White House was basically a pill mill. A government agency found that the Trump White House handed out an unprecedented number of dubious prescriptions for Adderall, for benzos, for sleep aids, and some of it wasn't even prescribed. It was just given to staffers like candy. So this is not a responsible department. This is not a responsible administration. It's only going to get worse. All right, we're gonna move on to a couple more quick stories here. Again, a lot going on in the world. Most of it pretty much sucks. That's all I can tell you. Most of it pretty much sucks. Anyway, let's get to yet another troubling character. His name is Diddy. Y'all know the man. Y'all know the vibes. All creepy all the time, man. Diddy is in just a fascinating place, an awful place, frankly, and one that 12 months ago, I don't think anyone could have foreseen. Diddy is now facing serious felony charges, and he is dealing with them through the legal arena. It's no longer the court of public opinion. It's no longer what people think or feel. It's about the criminal legal system, and he's got the best lawyers. And even though the system is rigged and racist and all those things, Diddy's got as good a chance as anybody surviving, but they're going to have to use different tactics. Anyway, let's get to the story. Diddy is trying his damnedest to get bailed out of jail for Thanksgiving. In a new court filing, lawyers for the disgraced mogul cited the First Amendment, and they compared Diddy to President-elect Donald Trump. Of course, this all comes after prosecutors accused Diddy of trying to influence potential jurors, which, again, super interesting, super dangerous for lots of people. Anyway, the prosecutors accused Diddy of trying to influence potential jurors through a PR campaign using his kids' social media platform. Some of you saw the kids on, at least I saw them on Instagram, talking about how great a daddy is, etc. But his lawyers argue that Diddy has, quote, a greater constitutional claim than other trial participants to speak out against the prosecution and the process that seek to take away his liberty. They added that the court should therefore, quote, apply Trump's heightened standard when considering Mr. Combs' free speech. So this is an interesting thing for you legal buffs out there too. I mean, the argument here that, you know, given their heightened status and position and the circumstances that they're in, their ability to speak out is not influencing a jury. It's not violating the law. It's simply trying to push back against the system that might be unjust or unfair. And there is an interesting idea here in saying that Trump can't find a good jury. He can't find an impartial jury. Diddy can't find an impartial jury. Everyone thinks he did everything. And so, and they're public figures. So when they speak out in this way, they're pushing back against the prosecutor. They're trying to launch a zealous defense for themselves. And that it's the only way for him to reasonably and principally fight for his liberty. I'm not sure I buy the story or the argument, but it's a hell of an argument. It's a really interesting argument. And very few people can say, hey, Donald Trump is my comparator. Donald Trump is the closest person to me. The president is the closest person to me in terms of how we mount a legal defense. Again, a terrible argument. We'll see what happens. Ultimately, the court isn't going to find it persuasive. We know that. Ultimately, Diddy's going to spend Thanksgiving in prison. And ultimately, Diddy is likely going to spend every minute until May in prison. He's going to spend every minute until May 5th, I believe, is his trial date. And then after that, we'll see what happens. I don't want to assume that he's going to be found guilty. I don't want to assume that he's going to beat this case. What I will say is I don't see him getting bail because of the allegations, because of the flight risk, because of the heinousness of the crimes. This is what they're going to argue. Again, I'm not making a case for it. I'm not sure I believe in the bail. No, in fact, I don't believe in the cash bail system in general. I'm an abolitionist, so I'm not here to say Diddy should be locked up or Diddy shouldn't be locked up. I'm sitting here. I'm simply making a kind of critical analysis of what I think is going to happen and why. Before we go, let's move to one more story. And this one is one of the sadder stories that I've had to report, and that is about Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams' Guardian says that the former talk show host, quote, has been afflicted by early onset dementia and as a result has become cognitively impaired and permanently incapacitated. Now, again, that's according to a court filing by Williams's guardian, Sabrina Morrissey. She's in a legal dispute with Lifetime over the release of the documentary, Where's Wendy Williams, which I saw. Hope y'all saw it too. Wendy was diagnosed with aphasia and frontotemporal dementia just last year, and she's been under a court-ordered guardianship for 2 years now, since 2022, which oversees all aspects of Wendy Williams's health and finances. You know, I don't like guardianships, but I've seen a couple lately, whether it's Brittany, whether it's Wendy, where it's like, yo, they need some kind of support, they need some kind of help. I hoped that Wendy would be able to recover and get back to the life and the career that she loves. But after seeing her in the documentary, Whereas Wendy Williams, it seemed that that was not a likely outcome. Wendy Williams is only 60. She shouldn't be in this position. Nobody should be. I've known Wendy Williams for over a decade now. I met Wendy Williams about 15 years ago, give or take, maybe 13 years ago. And she's always been very sweet to me, always been very wonderful. People have their own feelings about Wendy, often depending on when they met her. Did they meet Wendy Williams, the shock jock? Did they meet Wendy Williams, the talk show host? What Wendy Williams are you meeting at these different faces? But I've had nothing but good experiences with Wendy Williams. I found her to be generous and caring. And the last time I saw Wendy Williams, I was worried about her. I was on the set of her show. It was the end of November of 2018. It was actually the day I would be fired from CNN, which is why I remember it. And she said some sweet things to me, and she was very kind. I thought she was on drugs, to be honest. The way she was shaking, the way she looked, I was worried about her with an addiction. I didn't realize that she was dealing with the medical issues that she was dealing with. I don't know what was wrong with Wendy that day, or if anything, but I do know that I saw something in her that I didn't like, health-wise. And now, for her to be, so incapable of taking care of herself that she's going to need permanent, not just the permanent guardianship, but that she's going to be permanently incapacitated. That is disappointing. That is sad. That's unfortunately, it's just an incredibly sad story. As a kid said, hope her ex-husband continues to not get her money. I do too. This from what I know about the story, from what I know about the documentary, from what I know from friends who know him and her, he doesn't deserve a penny. Not because I don't think he made some contribution to her career. I'm not speaking at the financial legal level right now. I'm saying he was so awful to her. I'm glad to know that he's not able to just spend and exploit her money. I mean, he was awful. But I'll let you all figure that out for yourselves. That's it for tonight, y'all. It's a quick show. I'll be back tomorrow with more content, including a Gaza update. I promise you that it's coming up soon. I want to thank you all for watching the show. I'm very, very grateful for it. I especially want to thank Robin here, who just gifted 10 channel memberships. That means so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you so much. I want to thank everybody for watching. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button here. And of course, if you're so inclined, hit the join button and become part of the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube family. Also, when you do that join button and you become a monthly paid subscriber, you give us the financial stability that we need to keep the channel going, which I'm so grateful for. Also, family, if you can't make a monthly commitment through the membership, feel free to make a one-time donation right now. Go to Cash App, go to PayPal, go to Venmo, go to Zelle, and drop whatever you want. $1 is great. $1 million is great. Anything in the middle is great. But if everybody watching right now were to leave $10, if everybody watching right now were to drop $10, say on Cash App, we would be able to meet our financial goals for the month. So please, please, please consider it. And some of you are very generous every month. I would just ask you to make sure that November doesn't pass without you making your normal drop off, whether it's a membership, whether it's a cash deposit, because we need it. November is, a light month for us because of the holidays, and I want to be able to support my staff and keep the channel going. So please, if you can donate, please do. If you can't, I understand. Tim said, I keep missing the gifted memberships. You got to stay on. More gifted memberships are coming. I promise you that. So stay with us, y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. We'll talk soon. Peace.